Hello my lovelies, welcome back to Crazy But Not Dangerous. I'm Shorty Yvonne, and hello to all my new subscribers. Welcome, glad to have you. So, for my new subscribers, I am Shorty Yvonne, I am 4'5", and I am thrifty. Some might even say cheap. I'm okay with that. I'm not offended, it's okay. But I don't believe that being thrifty or cheap means that you have to eat cheap food. Even the most simple ingredients can be elevated into something extraordinary. And that's typically what I like to do here at Crazy But Not Dangerous. A little nuts, accept that. Not worried about it at all. It'll be okay, but I'm not dangerous. And most of my food preparations also include tips on safe food handling procedures. I do my best. Anyhow, what are we gonna make today? Osso Buco. On a discount, on a dime. Yeah, Osso Buco on a dime. It can be done. I promise. I wouldn't lead you astray. So let's get down to it. Let's shoot the moon. Can we have a gourmet dish like Osso Buco on a dime? Absolutely. Let's do it. So I got these beef shanks. They are not veal, but they are beef shanks. Got them 30% off. Original price was $7.97. This used to be a very affordable cut of meat that even a month ago I was able to get at just a couple of bucks. $2.50 generally. But like everything else, even the cheaper cuts of meat have gone up in price. So I'm going to be watching for these over at my Food City because they were $2.50 per pound just a couple of weeks ago. If I can find them again at $2.50, I'm going to go over to my Food City and load up on them because I think they are delicious. What is Osso Buco? It's a shank portion, which is from the leg of the animal, and it has a hole in it, and that's basically what Osso Buco means, is bone with a hole. Inside of that hole is a little bit of marrow, and it is going to melt, flavor, and completely make our dish delicious as it slow braises in my oven. You could use crock pot, absolutely, no worries. It has a few extra ingredients like carrot, like onion, like some celery. I'm going to use a little fresh tomato. You could use canned. Salt, pepper, garlic. That's just about it. And then we're going to have a little optional portion at the end, a little gremolata. I know, it sounds challenging. It's not. One thing that Osso Buco calls for is some rendered pancetta, which is like a pork product, and to render it like the bacon and have the bacon fat, and it adds a little unctuousness to it. I do not have pancetta. When I priced it out at my grocery store, it was $12 per pound, and you know what, I just wasn't going to spend it because I'm too cheap. But I have rendered bacon fat, and what I do is when I cook my bacon, I just pour the fat off through a coffee filter, and that's going to catch all of the fat solids, any of the little bacon crumbles that you may have missed, and then you're going to be left with a nice creamy white bacon fat product. I'm going to use that today. I'm going to go ahead and turn this cast iron skillet, whatever kind of skillet you got, it'll work. I'm going to turn that up to about a 6, and I am going to put in about a tablespoon of my bacon fat. I keep this in the refrigerator, and if you're saying to yourself, hey, that looks like an old candle jar, you are absolutely correct, because I paid for the whole thing. I'm going to use the whole thing, burnt the candle, boiled off any excess wax, sanitized it in a bleach solution, bleached it again, and now as far as I'm concerned, this is the perfect vessel for my bacon fat. I'm going to put it back in the refrigerator so we stay out of the danger zone. having a little Mountain Dew. People say, where do you get all your energy? From Mountain Dew and coffee. Okay, that's melting, and while that's melting, I'm going to go ahead and open up my package of beef shank. Now, you can use veal. I'm not ethically opposed to it. This is just the my preference price-wise. And to this, I'm going to go ahead and I am going to salt and pepper my shanks. You could do this with pork shanks. You could do this with lamb shank. That would be delicious. You know, whatever kind of a shank that you can get. I've read somebody using moose shank. I don't have access to moose here in the desert Southwest. I'm in Arizona. We don't got a whole lot of moose. But hey, go for it. Go for it. So I am going to just go ahead and melt my fat here. We had the best time on Cinco de Mayo. My sister invited us over, and it was my sister and her boyfriend, my niece Cookie and her boyfriend Andrew and I, and we had the best time, and we had tacos, and we had some kind of enchilada casserole kind of thing. It was delicious. There was chips and salsa, and then, you know, we got a little bit rowdy, and his friend, my sister's boyfriend's friend, had brought over this boat, and I use that term very loosely. Very loosely. You know what? It'll probably be fantastic when he fixes it up, but it is in very rough shape. Anyhow, he needed somewhere to park it for a couple of days, and so they put it out in the front driveway, and then we were out front, and we decided that we were going to do like this music video kind of thing. I'm going to attach it at the end in case you need a good laugh and you want to see some of my family members and I just goofing off. Okay, my pan feels kind of hot. I can hear my bacon fat sizzling, and I'm just going to go ahead and get these on in there. Oh yeah, that's the sound I'm looking for. I am going to brown these 3 minutes per side because I am not afraid to get a good bit of brown on my meat. I think that's going to add a lot to it, and you know, maybe you have to turn on your vent and vent it on. There's my beef shank, and I put the seasoned side down. So let's go ahead and season up this side. Oh, you can smell that bacon fat really going. It smells delicious. It smells super good. So 3 minutes per side, and it's a little smoky, but I think we'll be okay. Maybe I'll turn the vent on, and I'll bring you back because you won't be able to hear over the vent. That thing is like, it's like an airplane. Okay, I'm just gonna, while that browns up, I'm just gonna go ahead and prepare my braising liquid. So this is 1 cup of white wine, and you choose any wine that you feel is fit for drinking. Or you can omit it entirely and just use chicken stock. You could use white, that's what's typical. You could use red. I probably wouldn't use like the pink stuff in the really big bottle because for me that's a little bit sweet. But hey, if that's what you want to do, it's your house, it's your Osso Buco. Do what you want. And then I'm going to go ahead and I am going to add 1/2 cup of water in here and a little bit of bouillon. Heat. Add our, oh yeah, look at the brown on that. Let's go ahead and flip that over. 3 minutes. 3 minutes. 3 minutes did it. 3 minutes is going to do it. That is good and brown and looks delicious. We've got some crusties at the bottom. That one I think needs a little bit more time. That's okay. That's all right. Just going to give that another minute. Okay. So to my wine, I've gone ahead and added 1/2 cup of water. I have this better than bouillon. I only have the chicken flavor. I'm okay with that, and I am going to put in one of these teaspoons full. Maybe that's a little bit more than a teaspoon, maybe a teaspoon and a half. I'm just going to go ahead and put that into the wine water mixture and let that go ahead and combine. Again, this is going to be my braising liquid. I'm only doing 2 shanks today. If you were doing more, you might need more braising liquid. Oh yeah, get that turned over. That's going to be delicious. I have no doubt. If you were doing more shanks, I would probably go ahead and add a little bit more liquid. You may need it. But I only want mine to go for a dip, a wave. I don't want it to swim in it because it is going to cook for a while in my oven. And that's going to be just fine. That's going to be a good braising liquid. That's going to be terrific. Okay. All right, after about 6 minutes, I'm going to take my delicious shanks off. And I am just going to go ahead and set this to the side for a minute. Because now what we're going to do is go ahead and prepare our veg. And we've got that bacon fat in there. We've got a little bit of the renderings from the beef shank. I have these baby carrots. And I know, baby carrots, that's kind of an odd choice. Well, they were significantly cheaper at my grocery store than a 1-pound bag of regular carrots. These were on sale for 97 cents, and a full-length bag of whole carrots was like $2.97. And I'm just whatever's cheap. It all tastes the same, and you know what? It's going to be delicious. I'm not worried about it at all. But I am just going to go ahead and give these a rough little chop up. We're going to make a mirepoix, carrot, celery, and onion. And so I'm just going to give these a rough little chippity chop. It's informal. Maybe this one's a little bit big. It's informal. I'm okay with that. I'm all right. And we don't have to worry too much about, if you chop them up into larger pieces or what have you, because we are going to braise this for a very long time in the oven or in your crock pot. Now remember, when you're cooking in your crock pot, that whatever liquid you start out with is pretty much the same amount of liquid you are going to end with. So yeah, mine are going to go for a dip, a wade, but not a swim. And there we go. We got a little onion. And you can make your mirepoix really in any proportions that you want to, depending on what you have, depending on how much chopping you want to do, what your family prefers. It'll be all right. Little chippity chop, and this is a braise is a great way to clean out the refrigerator, because everything is pretty much going to cook for so long that it's going to break down, and you will never know that this was a floppy celery. If you didn't have celery, well, use maybe a little bit of celery seed. Maybe just go ahead and leave it out entirely. Maybe you put more onions or something like that in there. I don't know. That's just a little bit, and it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. I am going to go ahead and just add my carrot, celery, and onion to the bacon fat. Get them in there. And then I am just going to go ahead and slightly wilt this. At this point, because my skillet is so hot, I actually have the heat turned off. So I'm just going to let this kind of start off, get a little bit translucent in my bacon fat and my renderings, just like that, just with the residual heat. Not worried about it at all. All right, let's go ahead and chop up our 2 tomatoes. Got them at the dollar store. Gonna go, they're aromas, and I'm cleaning out the vegetable drawer. Cleaning out the vegetable drawer. So this one is all right. They're fine. But this is probably the last day that they would be the most appealing. So we're going to use them in here. I'm okay with that. Better to use them in something than let them go to waste. And it's already starting to smell really good in here. So I'm just going to give these a little dice up. Just, a little chippity chop. You could leave them whole. You could use canned tomatoes. I'm not opposed to canned tomatoes. If I was going to use canned today, I would use the ones that are already seasoned, the Italian seasoned ones. But yeah, if your vegetable doesn't have a bruise, if it doesn't, have a bad smell, if it doesn't have mold, can you get one more recipe out of it like that celery? I wouldn't want to put that on a veggie tray. I wouldn't want to serve that raw, but you know what? It's going to be just fine as it cooks. You'll never know the difference because it would wilt down even if it was brand new and fresh. So, let's eliminate waste. Okay. All right. These are getting there. No problem. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on browning these too awful much because, like I said, this is going to braise. I'm going to go ahead and turn my oven to 275 degrees. And I know that seems really low. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. Okay. Okay, went out to the garden, picked 2 sprigs of rosemary. Just going to throw those right on in there. Also have some minced garlic from a jar because I ran out of fresh and for some reason cannot find my granulated garlic flakes. This looks like a lot, but we really like it. I'm actually going to put in 2 of those iced teaspoonfuls. It's probably really close to a teaspoon, maybe just slightly more because I like a lot. And if you can see, the braising liquid is only coming up about halfway on my shank. And that is exactly how I want it. And in my opinion, this already looks terrific. I'm going to put a little cover on it. I'm going to put it in my 275 degree oven with a little cover on it. And I'm not going to worry about it for the rest of the afternoon. I'm going to let it do what it wants to do. Bring back and show you what it looks like as it cooks. Now, how I'm going to serve this, typically it would be served with a pasta. At our household, we actually like it on Parmesan mashed potatoes. And I'm going to go ahead and make those and get those all ready. So they just need a brief warm up. This is a quick, easy dish. I don't know, maybe I've spent 15, 20 minutes, getting it together. But it's going to do what it's going to do. It doesn't need anything else from me. So my day off, I've made it to a day off, yay, hooray. My day off is going to be spent, washing dishes, doing laundry, dusting, you know, the usual chores. But this is going to be delicious. I'm not going to watch it. You know, like you're watching like a 14-year-old. Still alive, doing okay. You need a snack. Yeah, like a 14-year-old. Excited for Osso Buco. This is an inexpensive dish. So let's do our cost breakdown. $5 for my Shanks. That's the most expensive part. But like I said, sometimes I find them cheaper. 2 tomato stores from $1 package. So we'll just, you know, we'll say 50 cents for easy math. Half of a bag of 99-cent carrots. So another 50 cents. The last little bit of a celery, you know, stalk that had seen better days. Some rosemary from my garden. Don't got rosemary from your garden, use dry. If you don't have rosemary, use thyme. If you don't have thyme and rosemary, use some Italian seasoning. And if you don't have any of that, salt and pepper. Just go with your straight salt and pepper. So it will be delicious. I'm super excited. Serve it over pasta. Serve it over potatoes. That pan sauce is going to be top notch. People will think that you spent a fortune on this because the flavors will be so deep and rich and delicious. You can do it. I believe in you. Yay, hooray. Let's get this in the oven. Okay. So, Osso Buco can sometimes be served with a little gremolata on top. And gremolata is going to be parsley, lemon, lemon zest, and some olives. And it's just like a little something that you put on top. Just a little something to take it over the edge. I did not have fresh parsley because it has already bolted from my garden. I've already dehydrated it, already added it to my big jug of parsley. And what I have here is about 1/8 of a cup of steamy hot water that I nuked up in my microwave. And I am going to go ahead and rehydrate dehydrated parsley. If you have fresh parsley growing in your garden and you live in a different part of the country than I do, by all means use fresh. If you don't, there's nothing wrong with this. We're just gonna rehydrate it. 1 tablespoon. 1 tablespoon is gonna do it to me, and this is just the same way that I would rehydrate my dehydrated vegetables, like my dehydrated celery or onion or what have you. Just add it to some hot water, just stir it around, and you can already smell once you add that the dehydrated parsley to your 1/8 cup of water. You can already smell that fresh grassy smell that you expect from parsley. So that is going to be the base of my gremolata, just that little tiny bit. And then let's go ahead and add a few more things. This is my lemon juice. This is from the lemons from my trees. And I just freeze it in these bottles and then take it out as I need it. And I don't have fresh lemon. I don't buy them because I have so much lemon juice from my trees. I produced about 400 pounds of lemons this year. So I am just going to go ahead and add about 1/2 a tablespoon of lemon juice to this. If you have a fresh lemon, even better. Zest it up. Squeeze yourself out some. If you don't have it, this will work in a pinch. Absolutely. Have some olive oil here, and I'm just going to give this just a little drizzle. Just that much. That's all it's going to need. Let's get some olives. These olives, got them from the Dollar Tree. You know I did. And I am just going to go ahead and take out a few. You can use whatever kind of olives that you have. Or if you even had a little olive tapenade, just go ahead and put a couple spoonfuls in there and you're done. All right, and then I'm just going to go ahead and chop these olives just in half and then a little bit more. And you don't need a whole lot. It's just an essence of something briny and delicious. That lemon juice, even though it is from, you know, already squeezed lemons in my yard, is still going to add that really bright flavor. You don't have to go crazy with your extras, you know. You can make do with what you had. If I didn't have the lemon juice, I'd probably just add some of the brine. Add some of the brine from my olives. And that's going to give it a delicious little pop. And this is just going to go over top of the shanks at the very end. And my garlic, pardon me, and my Parmesan mashed potatoes, I have to tell you a secret. I'm going to totally cheat. So as one of 9 children, I am completely burned out for the rest of my life, probably, on peeling potatoes. I try to take a shortcut with potatoes whenever I can. Just going to add this, the chopped up olives, to my olive oil, lemon juice, all the good things. I'm completely burned out on peeling potatoes. So I'm going to use instant potatoes. I'm going to follow the directions on the back. I am going to add 2 tablespoons of sour cream to it, and I am going to add about 1/8 of a cup of Parmesan cheese and follow the package directions. Stir it all up, make it delicious. If you don't like instant mashed potatoes and you're not opposed to peeling, by all means, go ahead, peel your potatoes, mash them all up, get your hand mixer out, make them whipped, have at it. Treat yourself. At my house, nobody really cares if I go to the effort or not of peeling the potatoes. Everybody likes instant. I have a little bit of roasted red pepper here. Get this from the Dollar Tree. It's red sweet pepper strips. Hello, red sweet pepper strips. And just for giggles, the recipe doesn't even call for this, but I was digging the olives out. Oh. Hello, little tasty bite. Let's go ahead and add you into, because you are going to be a little delicious little bit of red pepper. These are not spicy at all, but they are going to add a lot. Not just a few, just a few. I'm going to stir this up. I'm going to give it a little stirry, and I'm going to add 1/2 teaspoon of the garlic, and that will complete my remoulade here. Stir that all up, and that is what I am going to use to top my Osso Buco, my braised beef shank. Smells delicious. Smells delicious. Should we give it we'll give it a little taste. We'll give it a little sample. Make sure it's good. See what else it needs. Yeah. That tastes delicious. Yay, agree? Osso Buco, my beef shanks, they are going to braise in this oven with the lid on for about 4 hours. I know that seems like a long time, but my oven's only on 275 degrees. If you were doing it in your crock pot, I would probably go ahead and put them on low for about 4 to 6 hours, and then I would take the lid off after that time and crank it up to high, because you're going to want to burn off some of that alcohol if you chose to use it. Didn't use alcohol and you just used the chicken stock, or you just used water and salt and pepper, go ahead and keep it at low for 4, 6, 8 hours. And that shank, it's kind of a little bit tougher, because that cow really worked it, walked around, got fed, grazed, so it's going to need time to tenderize, and that's what your braising is going to do. So I'm not even opening it. It smells amazing. Poor Piggy, he's beside himself with the smells. and he's positioned himself over at the edge of the kitchen to keep an eye on it, to make sure that nothing happens to his yum yums, because he knows he will be getting a bite or two. I'm gonna pop this in the refrigerator, and then what I'm gonna do is take after my time, right before I'm ready to prepare this, I'm gonna take my beef shank out, put it on top of my mashed potatoes, get myself some of the veg all around, pour a little bit of the pan sauce on top, and then I'm just gonna take a little bit of this gremolata like product, you know, close enough, and spoon it on top. It's gonna be fantastic. Okay, my lovelies, well, it's been several hours. I'm gonna go ahead and pick out my rosemary stems. Put those over to the side. We don't need them anymore. And my meat is super tender. My vegetables have all softened and flavored everything. My braising liquid is reduced by more than half. It smells super rich and super garlicky. Most of the marrow has melted, and that's all in the sauce. So that, yeah, absolutely. I'm going to serve this over a pillowy bed of Parmesan mashed potatoes. I'm going to put the meat right adjacent to it, and then some of the vegetables around, some of the sauce on top, a little bit of that gremolata, and we are going to call it a day. Just because I made a meal using very inexpensive ingredients does not mean that it has to taste cheap, or that we are deprived in any way by having a budget meal. Just because you cook with inexpensive ingredients doesn't mean that you can't have a budget gourmet meal. Sure, we took some creative license with the bacon fat, and sure, I would have preferred to have fresh herbs and a fresh lemon for my gremolata, but I wasn't running to the store because I can't get out of that Albertsons for less than $50. I don't have an extra $50 in my grocery budget today. Yes, we use cheap wine, but sometimes I drink cheap wine. I'm okay with that. You do the best you can. You make the best meal you can for your family. Nobody is going to complain about this. We're going to eat like fat cats tonight. Yay, hooray. Okay, so I'm just making a plate here, and I've got the beef shank and my Parmesan mashed potatoes, some lovely veg on the side, plenty of sauce, and then I have my little bit of gremolata here, and I am just going to go ahead and spoon that right over my shank, just like that. Maybe a little over here on the veg. Okay. I think that looks delicious. I'm ready for Jeopardy. I'm gonna go kick his butt. Yay, hooray. Make yourself some discount Osso Buco. Get some off of the manager special, some shanks off the manager special. I don't care what kind of shank, get shank. And then braise it. Braising it's super easy, and it's a great thing to do on a day off. Anyhow, be good, be careful, look both ways. Thanks for watching Crazy But Not Dangerous. I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to have another Mother's Day brunch special. So tune in. See you next time.